Hello and welcome. This video is going to be titled Confessions of a Modern Day Cuck. Wonk, wonk. Uh, God, it fucking hurts to have to make this video. But having seen some of the shit that I've seen now from motivational speakers on YouTube about being an alpha male and shit like that, the only way that I can sort of embody or speak to the truth of that and to give what I can to young men who are growing up in this culture. Oh, fuck me in this culture. Jesus Christ. The only way that I can probably, the best way that I can think of to give, to educate is to give my story because it's the exact horror story scenario that a lot of these dudes are warning you about. Because if you meet the wrong chick and devote a lot of time and effort to being with the wrong person, the wrong woman, you will regret it. And I'm here to tell you, you will fucking regret it, okay? There's no question about this. Because in my scenario, I did the worst possible thing that you can do, which is to try and raise a child with said succubus. I did it, or I'm doing it. I'm in the process of it. And I can tell you right now, my heart, like the feeling, not the actual thing, the pumping mechanism, not this, but like my soul, my being is actually on fire like all the time in a bad way, right? It's painful all the time to have to deal with someone that is just the most toxic possible human being that you could ever imagine having to deal with on a regular fucking basis. Like, she'll be doing annoying shit and then act like I'm the one annoying or that I'm the asshole for being annoyed by her annoying shit. Okay? I mean, that's like a small, tiny little fucking thing. There's so many things, okay? Every single point where I could have possibly disagreed with this person, I disagree with them. She was smoking while she was pregnant. Made me want to vomit. Wouldn't stop it. Wouldn't fucking stop it. At a certain point, I just gave up and was like, fuck you, and I'm just going to do whatever I want to do anyway. Like, I'm just going to play video games, Fuck you. I realize that it's a shitty thing to do, basically, but, like, you're a shitty person, so why the fuck do I want to put in the effort to make you feel better when you literally have done everything you can to make me feel like shit about the situation that we're in? And I mean, we had a history before she even won it. And this is the other thing. Like, okay, so she put this on me. Okay. I didn't get her pregnant, I come to find out. She said that she was pregnant. She didn't say by who, but she said that she was pregnant. And I'm like, well, fuck. Let's try to raise this kid. Let's try to raise the kid. I'm a decent human being. I don't want to know that a kid is growing up with just a single mom yet a fucking again in our culture. I'm well aware of the damage that that's causing not only to that child, but to society as a whole. The overall gradual impact that that can have on the whole of society. Well aware of that problem. Because you got kids raising kids. And then those kids are going to be another sequence of children fucking up because they're not being raised by parents in a decent way. End up getting pregnant at 16 or whatever the fuck it is. And then those kids, and it just goes and goes and goes. And there's no way to stop it until you stand up and say no fucking more. No more. And it being a daughter, it being a girl, it just makes it that much worse because I know that because of and this is why I'm speaking to the young men, because you're the prospective mates with my daughter. And I don't want to see this fucking cycle of stupidity reenacted by some other dumb fuck that ends up coming down the line, mating with my daughter, who, because her mother is white trash, is going to inevitably be white trash herself, unless I stick to the fucking program and try to raise this kid. Because her mother's white trash. I knew she was white trash when I tried to fuck her, and did, because she's white trash. All I did was invite her over, and she came over without panties on and fucking propped herself up on the bed, and I fucked the shit out of her. Oops, sorry. Women are easy as fuck when they get the sense that a man has brains and potential to earn. That's all, especially white trash females who are from the streets, need in order to make a man their idol. Because that's like, that in and of itself is so much better than they are, because they are just completely lost. And so here I am at this point. And I love women. I love women. Women. Not girls. Not the succubus vampires that exist in our culture today. I love women. Women add value to a man because that's nature. That's what God, whatever you want to call it, intended it to be. But without that dynamic, and when it all comes down to basically just primal urges and shit like that, you're talking about two children, basically, a boy and a girl having sex, not a man and a woman, but a boy and a girl. And then they produce a child, and you have two children trying to raise a child. It doesn't work. It never will work. And I want to, I'm trying to speak to the young men who are lost, thinking that they need to get their nuts off, and that's all that fucking matters. That's all that look. I had already written a book. I felt successful as fuck. I was on the verge. I was on the cusp of me having all of the good shit in life. I didn't need money. I needed validation. That's all I needed, all I wanted. And here I am now making these stupid ass YouTube videos to an audience of 3 because I fucked up and I didn't put myself into the position that I needed to before I reached out to the world of women trying to get some kind of validation from that corner of the tapestry. I needed to instead be getting validation from the world at large so that I could actually have the kind of stability and success that is going to inevitably or eventually grant me the power, the money, the prestige, and everything else that is necessary for a man to be a man in order to raise a child and have a family. Family is extraordinarily important in society and civilization, and by that I mean a man and a woman having a child and raising that child to adulthood. That is an extremely important foundation to civilization and to society. And no matter what form it takes, it doesn't matter what government we have, it doesn't matter what economy we use, the family, in the sense of a man, woman, and child, is absolutely fundamental and paramount to us being able to have a future as a species, let alone as a society and as a civilization. There are people who want to say, oh, well, there are all alternative families that exist too. Well, okay, great. That's all well and good. But you know what? 2 gay guys having a relationship is a relationship. It's not a family. It's a family when there's 3 2 is a couple, 3 is a family. I shouldn't have to fucking explain this, but evidently I have to. But and 2 women, same deal. Not a fucking family. And you can have all these kids. You can try to raise kids, but you're not going to have the optimal conditions for a child to have healthy mental sanity. Really, growing up in those kind of conditions. Man, woman, child, family. That's it. Okay, and I am at this point stuck in a situation where the mother is trying to just do whatever the fuck. She doesn't care about the kids. She's trying to get hers and do hers and do right by herself, which is fair enough. You're a person too. Great. But you made your choices. You did all of this shit for yourself, and now the consequences are coming and biting you in the ass, and you're gonna ask other people to help you? You're gonna ask me to fund your fucked up life? And look, I don't even know that this child is mine. I love my daughter more than anything in this world, but this bitch fucked some other guy and got pregnant, and then wanted me to come into the picture, wanted me to pick up the pieces, called me to tell me that this was what was going on. And I didn't have to say anything. I could have just been like, oh, really? Bye. Peace. Get the fuck out of my life, you fucked up piece of trash. Bam. Could have said all that. Could have said that. Could have and should have. Should have. Should have. You live with your choices that you make. The fucked up choices that you made, you should live with them, and you should face them and grow from them. Now all of that bullshit is on guess who? It's not on her. She's already fucking some other guy now for the second time. She already, when we were trying to get in the process of getting married, because I'm like, look, we got to get married and I'm going to help you raise this kid. She ends up hooking up with some other fucking guy. Because you know what? They can't fucking help it. These succubus vampire bitches cannot fucking help it. They can't fucking, and you know what? They talk shit about the guy like me who's been stuck with the kid, stuck with the responsibility. She's got to go off. Well, I just have so much stress. I have to go out. I have to go to the bar alone with my friends. I have to. Because you know what? Deep down, I'm not satisfied with anything that anybody could possibly give me. Because you know what? I'm not the ultra masculine alpha male. I fucked the shit out of this bitch and she would fucking come every time I fucked her. But you know what? It's not enough. It's never enough. It doesn't matter how well you fuck a chick. What matters to them is whether or not you can satisfy the vampiric urge that they need to feel like they're a member of a relationship that they feel like, this guy is going to provide all of the things that I want. And I wouldn't buy her cigarettes and coffee at the end of my day of work as an electrician, jumping up into the fucking rafters of houses and pulling wires all throughout the fucking the house. And then fucking hammering in all this shit and whatever. Like, that it wasn't exactly an easy job, and I didn't exactly have like the best of people to work with. But you know what? That was my situation. Do you think she tried to understand and try to be a helpful female to me? Hell fucking no. It was about her. It was about her needs. It was about her problems. It was all about her. And you know what? I tried to cuck to that. I tried to be a simp for that, I tried to in certain ways. But at a certain point, I'm like, look, I'm not going to do every single little fucking thing. I was being, you would think that if a guy is literally helping you raise a child that isn't his, and he knows isn't his, that you'd give him an ounce, just a teeny bit of respect. But you know what? No. Not a fucking modicum, not a tiny little molecule. No respect. No respect. It's about her getting her time, her benefits, her perks from this situation. Absolutely not about giving anything to the person who she's, because you know what? It's about the wedding day for her, which I didn't even fucking happen. And you know what? This is the thing. She thought I was a cuck and a simp. I mean, I'll cuck not for her, but for the child. I will be a cuck. I will cuck for the child. Because you know what? The child is innocent in this situation and deserves to be raised and loved by a father. Raised and loved by a father. And I will be there for that child for the rest of their life. And you know what? She can even fucking hate me at the end of the day. I don't even give a shit. Because I love unconditionally. I truly do love unconditionally. I don't care if I get respect from that child. I don't care if I get love from that child. I don't care if when she's 18, she's like, you're a pathetic piece of shit. You fucking asshole. I don't care. Because you know what? At least she has the strength to tell me that when she's older. I don't care. I don't. I want her to be a strong, independent woman. I don't want her to be like her mother. Her mother is a completely flaccid, facile, ignorant, trashy, basic human being that doesn't deserve respect. And she's not going to fucking get it from me. Not unless she starts acting in a way that is respectful towards me. I'm not going to be a fucking beta male anymore. Especially not for this kind of shit. And I've cowed down numerous times. And I do it for the children. I do it for the children. I do it for the child. I don't do it for her. I will constantly be telling her, like, look, you need to fucking figure your shit out. And honestly, like, I'm on the verge. I've been on the verge several times where I'm just like, look, I don't even want to deal with this shit anymore. You can take the kid. You can, because she doesn't have, like, I'm not even on the birth certificate. There is no name on the fucking birth certificate for the father. In this situation, I literally have no legal obligation to be in this situation, but I am only sheerly for the fact that I love the little girl who's innocent in this situation, who doesn't deserve to be abused or shat on or broken. And yet, it's a broken home already. It's a broken home already. I honestly, it's like, I don't know what to do in this situation. I would, and I don't want anybody's advice. I don't really give a shit what you think or what anybody else thinks about this whole situation. I'm putting this out there because I know that young men out there need to hear this shit. Women will try to fucking suck everything out of you. Not women, but the modern females of today. If you can find a woman and you are a legitimate man in the world, God bless it, man. God bless it. That's great. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And I have my eye on a woman potentially, but unfortunately, just like it's all just a fucking game. She's in a relationship with some guy. She's talking to me. She's talking to me though. She entered into my DMs talking about, hey, what's up? And I'm just like, yeah, hey, what is up? I saw that she was got into a relationship. She had me in the friend zone. I had visited her a couple of times. I was clearly interested in her. She ends up, hooking up with some other fucking younger guy. And guess what fucking happened in that scenario? Younger guy's a fucking loser piece of shit that now she's complaining to me about when and I inquire about it because I'm like, hey, how's the shitty boyfriend, And she'll say, well, it's not going so great. And it's like, yeah, no kidding. No fucking kidding. And you enter in my DMs, you want to have a conversation with me about how shitty that situation is, but you don't want to change it. Some little shrimp dick little fucking person you can't even keep your girlfriend for a month. without her coming into my DMs, because I'm an actual man when it comes down to it. In more ways than one. I can fulfill a woman far more deeply than some young dude who's got, maybe he can play guitar or some shit. And that's the sad thing, is like all these kids that these young guys that think, just play guitar and I'll get laid. You don't know what the fuck you're doing to yourself, man. You don't know what you're doing to yourself. You don't know what you're doing to them. You're fucking up. And especially when you're talking about women, beautiful women who have the potential to actually be so much more than what you allow them to be because of your innate failure to appreciate who and what they are. A real man appreciates a woman for who and what they are. Who being the actual person behind the face that you think is pretty, and what being that they are a woman capable of amplifying your value and your capabilities tenfold at least. But you don't want that component of them. You just want the moist little orifice. You don't even know what the fuck any of this shit's about. And you want me to have compassion and sympathy for you in the fact that, well, you know what? All is fair in love and war, bro. All is fair in love and war. And you want to know why? Because I see the reality behind all of that shit. You think that she has value because of her appearance. I have the prettiest girlfriend in the whole world. Not for long, bro. Not for long. Not for long. You can't even make your own fucking bed in the morning. And you think you're going to be able to maintain a relationship with a female that has that much value, that she's actually like woman status? Sorry. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to let that happen. If I have the option of getting this woman into my life, I'm going to do what I can. I'm not going to take the easy route and just tell her what she wants to hear. I'm going to go the hard route and be deeper into her psychology than she is, and understand her deeper than she understands herself. And I'm going to get to her deepest kept secrets about what she's into sexually that you don't even fucking know about, that you haven't even paid enough attention to be able to have that kind of conversation and that kind of deep sexual, fun, sexy shit that she really wants. I'm going to get that because I am a boss. I am going to gradually take what I want. And I'm going to give away the things that I don't. My ex with my daughter and everything, my baby mama, man, she's very welcome to just have her own little shit stain of a life. Because that's all she's. And the sad thing is, the children can only amount to the mother. Because I'm only there like 2% of the time or whatever. I'm only there like 20%, maybe a little bit more than 20% of the time. She has the kids, like, she has her for the most of the time, for the most part. So I can only influence this child so much. And how much I have influenced my child is her being 3 years old at this point. She's got an incredible vocabulary because, and it ain't because of her mom. She's got an incredible vocabulary. She has an incredible ability to see situations as they're happening. Like I gave her an example of like language of verbs and nouns, and I said, Ara, a noun is a ball. A ball is a noun. Window is a noun. Throw is a verb. I said, I throw the ball through the window. And she said, did the window break? You break the window, Daddy. That's how you break. And I'm like, oh my God, I wasn't even trying to make that like the scenario, but that's how smart this child is. That she's thinking about what I'm telling her, and she's actually making connections that she's 3 years fucking old, man. And I'm like, this kid's smarter than I was by like a factor of 10 at the age of 3, because I talked to her in a real way, and in such a way that I'm like, I'm talking to you right now, the viewer here. And yeah, it's overwhelming for her sometimes, but I'd rather her be overwhelmed than underwhelmed. All I'm trying to say is, look, you have opportunities. You have potential. You can be better. You can make your life fucking amazing and have the best instead of mediocrity. Instead of settling for what you can get at the moment, you can wait. You can build yourself, build your life, and actually get to a point where you have not just what's available, but people will come to you who are of a superior value, that will elevate you, that will make you even better, instead of settling and then fucking your life up and then ultimately just adding to this cycle of idiocracy. And the reason why the men in this sort of community are so passionate about this issue is because this ultimately affects society and culture and the future of humanity in general. It affects us all. It affects us all. Because I don't want to be seeing men raised by single mothers, and I don't want to see young girls raised by these single mothers who ultimately have no fucking sense. No sense. And the result, our government gradually becomes more and more tyrannical. Our society and culture gradually becomes more and more hedonistic. And gradually we start living in a hellish world where everybody's wearing these fucking face muzzles because they don't even know what the fuck their own immune system is for and how it operates and what you can actually do to prevent getting diseases, like taking vitamins and minerals and spending time outside and exercise and not being obese and not being a fucking dipshit. And you see people walking, like I was at Dairy Queen after I dropped off my kid the other day, and I see this obese person, this obese man fucking walking, not even walking, he's fucking waddling in to the Dairy Queen, and I'm thinking to myself, this guy wants me to wear a mask so he can feel safe. Like, you're fucking killing yourself and you want me to make you feel safer about your health by wearing a mask and by making my child wear a mask and making all the children at school wear masks? Fuck you, man. Fuck you. You know what? And I'm not even, I don't even feel bad about saying this kind of shit anymore. Like, these kind of people, the epidemic, or like just nature itself is trying to cleanse the dysfunction and the disease in our culture, in our society, our species. Our species needs to be cleansed. And it doesn't, you know what? It doesn't require a Hitler at a certain point. Nature itself will take care of the cleansing process that needs to take place. And it is. And I don't need to do anything. All I need to do is just live my life. I'm not going to die from this shit. I'm a healthy motherfucking person. But when it comes down to it, the reason all of this shit is interconnected, it's all interconnected, because there's all of these people being educated by a public education system because there's no parents anymore raising their kids and educating them. No more educating your own kids. There's none. So what is it? the indoctrination system of the public education system. The indoctrination of the public education system has taken over. Everybody just believes what they're told by the government and the ABC, the alphabet soups, corporations, and everything else. They just tell you what to think and how to think. And now you have the gradual creep into tyranny and into absolute despotism. Because the stupidity factor of people who simply have not been raised properly, have not been educated properly, and just think that whatever they're told is what to believe. It's all interconnected. The parents, the economic equality through feminism and all the rest of it. The feminist women got rights by taking away the power, the spending power, the economic power of men. And so now it's men have half as much and women have half more than they had. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred. And that's exactly what happened with feminism and with men. Basically, the men gave up their economic power and gave it over to women, or women sucked out the economic power from men and gave it to themselves. And they said, ooh, this is a good... But unfortunately, they did so at the expense of children. And by doing so, you did so at the expense of civilization. And by doing so, you got yours, and you got your sense of, I can do just as well as men, at the expense of the future. And we're living in the future of that time. And just watch as people wearing diapers over their faces take over. And the overall illogical and fearful culture of modernity becomes gradually more and more nightmarish. And eventually the children raised in this time period are literally just a bunch of fucking overwhelmed, psychotic, depressed, neurotic fools. Raised by equally paranoid, neurotic fools who ultimately had no business having children in the first place. Because they got too excited and wanted to have the temporary pleasure at the expense of the future potential of their own lives. They gave up their future potential so that they... And you know what? And then there's the people who have the security and the stability, but refuse to have children. You refuse to have children because you want to be able to have your hedonistic pleasures at the expense of societal and cultural improvement.